Have you ever caught your adult child looking at your possessions with a little too much interest, or noticed them subtly questioning your financial decisions? What if these weren't innocent actions but calculated moves in a waiting game? The truth is, thousands of seniors discover too late that their children are more interested in their inheritance than their well-being. In this video, I'll reveal 6 alarming signs your adult children might be waiting for your inheritance, including the 3rd sign that's so subtle yet absolutely never lies. More importantly, I'll show you exactly how to protect yourself emotionally and financially before it's too late. Eleanor, a vibrant 72-year-old widow from Portland, couldn't understand why her 3 adult children suddenly became overly interested in her financial affairs after her husband died. They started suggesting she sell her spacious home because it's too much to maintain, questioned her spending on a European cruise she'd always dreamed of, and her oldest son even asked to be added to her bank accounts just in case something happens. Eleanor felt increasingly anxious and confused by their behavior. Was she being paranoid, or was something sinister happening? It wasn't until she confided in her longtime friend, who recommended a family counselor, that Eleanor realized what was really happening behind those concerned smiles. The counselor had seen this pattern dozens of times before. Her children weren't worried about her well-being. They were protecting what they saw as their future inheritance. Are your adult children exhibiting similar behaviors? Let's examine the 6 unmistakable signs that your children might be waiting for you to die, and exactly what you can do about it today. Sign 1. They constantly inquire about your will, estate plan, or valuable possessions. How often do your children bring up your will or ask about your valuable possessions? Do they casually mention your jewelry collection, classic car, or valuable artwork? Are they constantly wondering if you've updated your will recently? This isn't normal conversation. It's a massive red flag. Family estate attorneys report that excessive interest in inheritance documents is one of the earliest and most reliable warning signs of inheritance impatience. According to senior rights advocate Sandra Thompson, when adult children frequently steer conversations toward possessions or estate planning, they're mentally cataloging their future assets, not expressing concern for your affairs. Take Robert, a 68-year-old retired engineer from Seattle. His daughter began each visit by admiring his extensive coin collection, always ending with subtle questions like, "Dad, have you thought about who will take care of these when you're gone?" Or, "I've always loved that collection since I was little." At first, Robert thought she was just sharing his interest until she suggested he document who gets what and offered to help him organize his collection. A friend pointed out that she never showed this interest when Robert was younger and healthier. Here's what you need to do immediately. Start documenting these conversations today. Don't wait another day thinking it will get better. Keep a simple notebook recording dates and exactly what was said about your belongings or will. This creates accountability and often changes their behavior when they realize you're paying attention. Are they bringing up your antique furniture again? Write it down, asking about your will. Document it with the date and exact words. Have they repeatedly admired the same item? That's a pattern you need to record. Next time they bring up your possessions or will, try this response. "I've noticed you've mentioned my item several times recently. My estate plans are private and already arranged with my attorney. I'd rather we talk about your life instead." Watch their reaction carefully. It will tell you everything you need to know about their true intentions. Sign 2. They discourage you from spending your money or enjoying your retirement. Have you been criticized for buying something nice for yourself? Has your child ever made you feel guilty about taking that cruise or buying a new car? Listen carefully. When your children criticize your spending or vacations, they're not protecting your financial future. They're protecting their inheritance. This is your money that you worked decades to earn. According to elder financial abuse specialists at the National Center on Elder Abuse, Manipulating seniors into restricting normal expenditures is a common tactic used to preserve assets for inheritance. Dr. Rebecca Wilson, a leading geriatric psychologist, explains, adult children who question a mentally competent parent's spending are often more concerned with preserving their inheritance than their parents' quality of life. Nancy, a 76-year-old widow from Chicago, experienced this firsthand. After her husband's passing, she decided to fulfill their shared dream of visiting Alaska. When she told her son about booking the cruise, his response was immediate disapproval. "Mom, don't you think that's wasteful at your age? You should be conserving your resources. What if you need that money for healthcare later?" Nancy cancelled the trip out of guilt, only to discover months later that her son had been telling other family members she was becoming financially irresponsible and might need help managing her affairs. "You must take action now. Respond firmly with this exact phrase: 'I've worked hard for this money, and I intend to enjoy my life. My financial decisions are not up for discussion.' Then immediately change the subject. If they persist, be even more direct. 'This conversation is over. I won't discuss my spending with you again.' Then follow through. Consistency is crucial. For added protection, consult with a financial advisor who specializes in senior finances without your children present. Establish a clear spending plan that balances enjoyment and security. Having a professional's validation will give you confidence when your children question your decisions. Remember, you earned this money, and no one has the right to make you feel guilty about reasonable expenses that bring you joy. Sign 3. They show unusual interest in your health issues, but lack genuine emotional support. This third sign is the most subtle, yet the most revealing. Do your children ask detailed questions about your medical conditions, but never offer to accompany you to appointments? Do they want to know about test results, but change the subject when you express fears? Do they ask about your prognosis more than your comfort? This disconnect reveals everything. Geriatric psychologists have identified this behavior pattern as inheritance impatience syndrome, where adult children track a parent's health decline while emotionally distancing themselves. Dr. James Moriarty of the Institute for Elder Well-Being explains, when children inquire about health details but avoid emotional involvement, they're often mentally calculating timelines rather than providing support. They want information without investment. This happened to Walter, a 79-year-old retired teacher from Denver. After his Parkinson's diagnosis, his daughter began calling more frequently, but the conversations changed. She would ask detailed questions. What exactly did the neurologist say about progression? What stage are you in? How fast do they think it will advance? Yet when Walter expressed fear about his future, she quickly changed the subject. Most tellingly, when he asked her to accompany him to an important follow-up appointment, she was always too busy, but wanted all the details afterward. You need to test their intentions immediately. Ask for specific help with healthcare needs. Don't hint, be direct. "I have a doctor's appointment next Tuesday at 2 p.m. I'd like you to come with me." Their response will tell you everything about their true motivations. If they make excuses repeatedly while still asking for health updates, you have your answer. Create a support system beyond your children today. Connect with local senior services, join a medical support group for your condition, or hire a professional patient advocate. Many hospitals offer these services at reduced costs for seniors. Having independent support means you won't be vulnerable to children who want information without providing care. This step is absolutely critical. Don't delay. Sign 4. They attempt to isolate you from other family members or friends. Have certain friends suddenly stopped visiting? Do your children speak negatively about your sister, brother, or close friends? Pay close attention. When adult children try to limit your contact with others, They're not being protective. They're eliminating witnesses and competition for your attention and assets. Elder abuse prevention experts at the National Council on Aging warn that isolation is the single most significant risk factor for financial exploitation of seniors. Their research shows that seniors who maintain diverse social connections are up to 80% less likely to experience financial abuse. Isolation isn't just a red flag, it's the foundation upon which all elder exploitation is built, explains forensic accountant Timothy Reynolds, who specializes in elder financial abuse cases. Patricia, an 81-year-old grandmother from Phoenix, noticed her daughter gradually discouraging visits from Patricia's younger sister. "She just upsets you, Mum," her daughter would say. "You're always tired after she visits." The daughter began screening calls and forgetting to deliver messages. What Patricia didn't know was that her sister had questioned why Patricia's daughter had recently become a signatory on Patricia's checking account. Once isolated from her sister, Patricia didn't have anyone to raise concerns when her daughter began borrowing money that was never repaid. Take immediate action to protect yourself. Strengthen your social connections today, not tomorrow. Call an old friend right after watching this video, join a senior center activity this week, or reconnect with extended family members you haven't spoken with recently. Tell someone you trust about any attempts to limit your social interactions. Be direct. "My daughter seems to discourage my visits with you, and I'm concerned about it." Create a regular social schedule that doesn't depend on your children. Weekly standing appointments, like a Sunday phone call with your brother or Tuesday coffee with a neighbor. Establish patterns that make isolation tactics more obvious. Tell multiple people about these arrangements so others will notice if you suddenly stop participating. This creates a safety net that makes you a difficult target. Sign 5. They pressure you about adding them to financial accounts or property deeds. Has your child suggested adding their name to your bank accounts, home deed, or as a power of attorney just to make things easier? Have they offered to help manage your finances because it's so complicated these days? These seemingly helpful gestures often hide dangerous motives. Financial elder abuse investigators report that joint accounts are one of the primary methods used to drain seniors' assets before death. According to legal statistics, once a child is added to an account, over 70% of these arrangements result in unauthorized withdrawals. Adding an adult child to your accounts isn't creating convenience. It's surrendering control, warns elder law attorney Victoria Hamilton. Once their name is on the account, legally that money becomes partially theirs. Harold, a 74-year-old widower from Minneapolis, trusted his son's suggestion to add him to his checking account in case you get sick, Dad, so I can pay your bills. Harold agreed, thinking it was sensible planning. 6 months later, while reviewing his statement, Harold discovered his son had been transferring $500 weekly to his own account, nearly $12,000 total. When confronted, the son claimed it was payment for helping Harold with errands and household tasks, services Harold never agreed to pay for. Protect your assets with this immediate action plan. Never add anyone to your accounts without consulting with an independent financial advisor and an elder law attorney first. These consultations might cost a few $100s, but can save your entire estate. There are safer alternatives like limited power of attorney that protect your assets while providing the convenience your children claim to be concerned about. If you're feeling pressured, use this response. I appreciate your concern, but I've spoken with my bank about the best options for my situation. Keep your financial details private, even from adult children. Create a relationship with a banker, financial advisor, or elder law attorney who knows your wishes and can serve as a buffer between you and pressuring children. Most importantly, if you've already added children to accounts, it's not too late to undo it. Contact your bank immediately about removing them or opening new individual accounts and transferring your funds. Don't delay. Every day matters when your financial independence is at stake. Sign 6. They react with anger or guilt-tripping when you set financial boundaries. This final sign is perhaps the most revealing. When setting financial boundaries triggers outbursts or emotional manipulation from your children, you're witnessing their true priorities exposed in real time. Pay close attention to this critical warning sign. Geriatric counselors identify emotional volatility in response to financial boundaries as the most reliable indicator of inheritance-focused relationships. Healthy adult children might be disappointed by financial decisions, but respect their parents' autonomy, explains family psychologist Dr. Amanda Harris. When disappointment transforms into anger, guilt-tripping, or emotional punishment, it reveals that the relationship has become transactional rather than emotional. Frank, a 77-year-old retired business owner from Tampa, experienced this firsthand. After mentioning his plans to donate to his church's building fund instead of updating his will, as his son had suggested, his normally pleasant son became furious. "After all I've done for you," his son snapped, "you'd rather give your money to strangers than secure your family's future." The conversation escalated, with his son eventually threatening to visit less often if Frank was going to be so selfish. This extreme reaction revealed his son's true expectations about Frank's money. You must prepare yourself with this protection strategy. Create a boundary script in advance for these confrontations. Practice saying, "I understand you're upset, but my financial decisions are final. If we can't talk about other topics, we'll need to end this conversation." Then follow through consistently. Hang up the phone or leave the room if necessary. Document these emotional outbursts just as you would other concerning behaviors. Note the date, what financial topic triggered the reaction, and exactly how they responded. This pattern will become valuable evidence if you ever need to prove manipulation or emotional abuse. Most importantly, recognize that genuine love doesn't come with financial conditions. You deserve relationships based on affection, not expectation. If setting reasonable financial boundaries damages your relationship with an adult child, that relationship was already compromised by their expectations. Better to know now than to continue in a relationship built on false pretenses. These 6 signs: persistent interest in your possessions, criticism of your spending, detached health inquiries, isolation attempts, pressure for financial access, and emotional volatility about money, create a clear pattern when observed together. You now have the knowledge to identify these warning signs and the specific tools to protect yourself emotionally and financially from adult children who might value your inheritance more than your relationship. Remember, recognizing these signs doesn't mean you've failed as a parent. Many seniors face these challenges, and identifying them is the first step toward reclaiming your autonomy, dignity, and peace of mind. Your retirement years should be lived on your terms, not in service to someone else's inheritance expectations. If you've noticed any of these signs with your adult children, share your experience in the comments below. Your story might help someone else recognize these patterns. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content that helps protect your financial and emotional well-being in your golden years. Hit the notification bell so you never miss our new videos about securing your independence and dignity.